reality, it's going to be fun to see RNG and FPX get on the field.
Sitting equal first. Once again, FPX 5-0, RNG 4-0 as we come in to our match of the week here at the end of week number 4. Remember one thing. Only one team will be standing on top after we debut this explosive matchup.
I want to see the map already. Get me in there. 1 minute, and they refused to show me what was happening in the level 1s. Upset. Literally a full minute. Where are the wards? I mean, this is a pretty defensive stance, so it doesn't seem like there are any wards deep in. FPX, once again, all of these wards are pretty defensive except for... no, they actually didn't want to do anything in the level 1. That's actually pretty impressive. Seeing that, I think FPX's level 1 is pretty good.
Yeah, a lot of lockdown there. Gives us time, for the first time in the LPL history, to actually break some things down. Colonel has gone above and beyond, more so than he has ever done. I feel like this split, Raz, heavily skewed towards RNG.
Interesting. I'm surprised about that, mostly because early portions of the games have been going towards FPX, so he has some explaining to do.
He's looking at the composition, the Lucian Karma down in the bottom lane against the Karsa. That can be very defensive matchup, as you can see here. Ming already just kicking it off.
That's why it's fun to talk about the rune choices here, because that's going to be inspiration across the board for RNG.
Yeah.
I want to see how many of them actually went towards stopwatch, because ultimately the Comet being picked up by Ming is, for me, just, it's always a discussion between Airy and Comet. He just said, I want the ability to shove in lane and have presence here. So already making his name known, a lot of chunk on LWX's name.
Yeah, the more aggressive option, of course, in Comet up against the Lux is going to be just burning down even quicker. As to your question, Raz, only one stopwatch, and that's on the side of FPX.
Oh, there we go. I suppose they're just pretty focused on biscuits, generally speaking.
Yep.
We're in a pretty good spot right now. I think right now for RNG, a lot of focus towards the lanes, ultimately. And to answer the question about GP's keystone choices, yeah, he going towards the Gragas and Doinb. A lot of damage that can just pop onto your head.
But ultimately, a safer lane there for GimGoon anyway. But we had a lot of focus on the 2v2 through the mid lane. Now we're going to look at the 1v1 Doinb in a very bad trade. Xiaohu just coming up huge.
That was great. And on top of that, at least the lane's pushing in, but you can already see Karsa. This is very much mimicking the last time FPX and RNG faced off against each other in the regular season. Doinb found himself a victim to the tower dive.
With ingenious pathing through the gap in vision control. That's where Karsa is. Cocoon flash over the wall. Doinb gets the revenge kill from RNG themselves.
Happened again. Doinb didn't see it coming. The concern when you get poked like that, you know, you feel safe. You're like, at least the wave's pushing into me.
And this is an early TP. Look at FPX. They want to go themselves. The Cocoon, the flash forward with the body slam. Karsa doesn't have the repel just yet. The light binding doesn't connect. Doinb flashes forward onto Karsa. The shield not enough to save the day. It's 3 versus 1. Xiaohu feels the brunt of it himself. FPX, you thought they were going to slow down. Even Uzi coming up, getting the trade-off won't be good enough. The flash over the wall from Xiaohu. Disengage while Uzi. He needs the help from Ming. The flash over from LWX. AD carry versus AD carry. And FPX prevail. Now equaling up the kill count.
There are 2 champions right now on the map. LWX and Xiaohu, but not over just yet. Ming, get out of there.
He's going to run back to his turret, gets a lockdown onto LWX, or at least tries, getting a favorable trade, but at this point, double buffs go to the AD carry. And like you said, Raz, mid versus bot is now the case.
That's crazy to be able to see that happen this early on. We said it was going to happen through 2v2 in mid, but you expected FPX to take it slow after this one. You'll not only lose your life, you lose the wave, but Tian says, nah, we're taking this one more time. Karsa caught out guard. You thought there was a little bit of, you know, safety coming through as Ming was coming in to help. Wow. But of course, that was a sick poke coming in from LWX. And he caps it off from following through. Eyes on Uzi immediately, because while he was able to, you know, help out the kill, yeah, you ain't getting an exit strategy on this one. Flash is over, but still gets followed by LWX.
So many summoners burden that engage, and across the board, looks like everything's down, apart from that top lane, and Ming luckily surviving with both of his.
And right now, if I'm Karsa, I'm pretty happy about that.
Okay.
You have more options. No flash on Renekton. No flash towards the bottom side either. Sure, I think Crisp is in a pretty comfortable position, but if we're talking about shutdown gold, you get those. Let's see. Right now, Elise is always going to be someone you want to be able to track. And I think FPX wants to do that now more than ever, knowing that 2v2, is not going to be in favor of FPX any longer. So much gold being, injected into Xiaohu that he's going to be able to do a lot.
He's already ahead by about 15 CS in this mid lane. Picking up a revolver before the 5-minute mark even doesn't matter what time, because at this point, Xiaohu does that with an item that should not be received until that 10 minutes.
Because just like, run this through once more. Going to be your verbal replay. The fact that not only that mid lane dive happens, Doinb loses the entire wave.
Yep.
Comes right back and another kill goes through the Xiaohu. He actually was just the biggest winner of the first 4 minutes of the game.
And the fact that the Sylas has so much control, yet the bottom lane with Karsa nearby still has to respect the Lucian karma, means that RNG all around have control more so than FPX. And Chris needs a binding, or at least needs to get Tian into this lane.
Yeah, that's why I'm going to be looking towards the defensive wards RNG ends up placing out. That's been a strong facet to their game, because we already saw in the initial graphic, they're right now in 11th place in terms of average game time for a team that's undefeated and has dictated a lot. They've been going towards late game composition so frequently, and it's mostly because not only is it something comfortable for them, but Karsa is just such a great shield for his lanes. So I already see a few wards coming through, just in case Gragas is trying to turn a bot side push or try and get the shutdown gold on Xiaohu.
I got full vision of him as well. Tian was spotted out doing the Gromp, but in the same retrospect, Karsa over the Dragon, just crossing the bridge into the enemy jungle. Tian's going down there right now, so there's good warding from both sides and just as good tracking here from Tian over in FPX.
Oh, he's going to get some hurt on this tower. Could he get terraplating?
Bit of demolish there. He should be able to find at least one.
Yeah!
GimGoon in a very good position in this lane. He has Sheen, so against the Glacial Shroud, not bad, but Gangplank, get ready for those ults. That's
when you're feeling pretty happy as a GP player, is when you are so confident not in just the matchup and how the game is panning out on the top side that you're able to go for that. Only concern is if Karsa ends up finding that top lane gank, no added sustained HP, no nothing, on GimGoon, the damage that you're seeing that Langx has will stand and the dive will be easier. That's something that's always been a consistent point of focus when GP's in the meta versus a tank top laner, right?
Yep.
Because you're like, Sig, perfect. GP in these matchups are great. But then you realize that, when you're dealing with a Poppy or a Sion, that's even easier dive that they can happen on top of the GP. So you just have to be constantly thinking, be the most suspicious of everything on the map. Am I getting dived on this wave? Make sure. Check every rip, every bush.
Tian's up there to negate anything happening in that top side, though. So at this point, if you see 2v2 in the top side, expect Tian to be coming in with Predator now picked up on his tier 1 boots. And Tian actually, on that note, farming better than Karsa. Karsa's still trying to be proactive, still looking for that level 6 mark, so he gets a bit more movement speed in his spider form. And we'll be picking up the red buff, so that should be coming soon.
Hasn't amounted towards an experience difference just yet. And at the moment in time, it's going to be real fun to be able to see where Tian ends up moving, because having to clear top side fully and get a good base off for himself so he has some AP underneath his belt, bot side for me was ultimately going to be his destination. I think everybody knew that with how consistent Uzi and Ming were pushing up, that this was the lane you wanted to upset. Otherwise, I mean, that's going to be free turret plating gold. They should be able to take the turret at 12-minute mark.
Yeah.
And you will never, even if you want a lane swap, you won't get that opportunity with these, this many minion waves coming at you.
And that's culling out as well. Big ultimate there from Uzi to push the wave, but LWX doesn't really get shoved out too hard. Bit of turret plating to be taken. Finally goes over to RNG's bottom lane, but Tian is still here. Xiaohu spotted roaming towards the bottom side on a ward. But Tian's still not making the move, going for the clear, leaving his bottom side on an island for a little bit longer.
But that's the concern now. It wasn't just going to be the 2v2 pressure. It was going to be the 3 or 4v2 pressure, but here comes Doinb.
He's finally got the shove in the mid lane. This is what we're talking about with FPX. Catabarrage coming down the flash forward with the light binding, but Chris gets turned on by Uzi. Exhausted out, but can they get the return kill?
Oh.
Uzi wants it, but a double bump, double Q, double kill for LWX.
4 kills on LWX at the 9-minute mark. So well played. It was just a fake pivot from Xiaohu to be able to come back, bot side, see if he can hover and push them off the wave, and then go right back mid. Didn't expect Doinb and Tian to just be able to move there so quickly.
Double kill again.
Yeah, it's not looking good for Uzi on this one.
The bottom side, he's trailing towards Blade of the Ruined King. Now Manamune just picked out outright here for LWX instead of completing the Storm Razors.
I mean, that's just, to me, when you're able to get that so early, to your point about the Storm Razors, you don't get the stats immediately, but that's just so quick that you're able to start building on it. Take a look at this. So GP ultimate setup immediately. Keeps them interested with the Lux binding. Now Uzi and Ming are committed to this play. And because they were forced to commit with no one in the area to help, easiest double kill you can find.
Everyone looks at Lux shield and says, wow, that sucks. And yeah, Crisp right now, of course, going to be the W max here. So getting very frustrating for RNG while in that replay, everyone's moved to the top side. Even, I believe, Rift Herald dropped down as well and went to the side of RNG. So a small window to play through the potential top side where everyone started grouping.
That's what happens when you start, you know, diving deep into replays. This is my replay warning. Because at the 10-minute mark, you're definitely going to be rotating to the most important, investment on the map, which is the Rift Herald. And, RNG were able to get a hit on that first, so good job to them. They needed to make that move. If they lost not only the bottom side fight, but the rotation up top lane and the Rift Herald, they are going to be on the back foot for so long.
And FBX were matching that very easily. Doinb in the mid lane, careful. Conqueror going to get procced on his way out. But meanwhile on the top side, LWX has found himself into Langx. Now this Sion is very squishy, going to regret being born in a second. At half health, the ultimate comes in, Killer Instinct, runs into an ulti himself, has to flash out, but Tian's here. Get ready,
Where you
big fat boys running into ya. Tian picks up one, and now FBX, the race is on with Rift Herald bot and FBX to the top side.
Yeah, but their wave is pretty far off, so I think they need to take the long run. In fact, I know our camera's not panning over there, but Karsa, I think, took a few turret shots to be able to get the job done.
That's true.
So RNG already have the first push, just sacrificing Langx in the entire point.
They're going to be close to matching in gold as well after getting this first turret, and FBX so far off in that top side. Karsa knocking away, but RNG back to that 20k gold at 12 minutes, trailing FBX.
They don't have to concern themselves with the dragon that's coming up too. Take a look at that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Because now they didn't even have to fully push it up top side. They're going to be rotating up, and they might be there just in time. LWX and Chris will have the longest back timing I've ever seen.
Thank you, Chris. Just going to knock down the wave to make it a little bit quicker. Langxing's here, and
oh no,
this turret doesn't go down.
Defend it.
So RNG just holding strong to a degree.
Yeah, that's why Sion ended up going top lane. There's going to be 3 people top, and if you're FPX, you need to extract your members, because that might turn into a larger fight.
Xiaohu on the walk has Proto Belt now as well, so even more flexible moving around the map. Ming's joined the fray, and 5 members to the top side, while Gangplank farms the bottom. Side waves here for FPX.
That feels good, doesn't it? Yeah. You're RNG right now. Not only do you have a longer lane, bottom lane to work with and start punishing GimGoon, but you have a dual lane that's well protected with a tower up top side. Literally winning on both sides.
Yeah.
Where's Sion been, actually?
I will say, however...
Oh, he's coming.
GimGoon, now 40 CS ahead. So while there are windows for RNG, or rather, a lot of wins on the board after what the early game became, GP's 40 CS, almost as Trinity Force, but hang on, Chris might be caught out. Culling comes through, not enough attack speed there from Uzi to keep it going. Tian walking around, gets hit by the cocoon, launched on by a spider. You're in the great western outback as they launch down explosive cast. Now onto Karsa, they turn it. LWX locks him down. Xiaohu in for the flank, has the explosive cast himself, but LWX is taking on the 1v1 while Doinb jumps in. The final spark is the final moment for RNG, but FBX gets dangerously low. Xiaohu still running in while Uzi gets Doinb in the fray. Now FBX with 3 members. Are they going to go back in?
This is what you love about teleport not being cancelable. Every individual person just teleporting in has their own battle to fight.
Yeah.
Renekton's like, I can't get out of this one, so I'm going to get the kill. You better back me up with that, Lux ultimate. Gets a kill off of that. So congratulations to him. When you put in a bad situation, he's like, I'm going to get something at least.
Thought GimGoon would come in as well, but he knew better in the end. The Gangplank get farming the bottom lane while all the shenanigans were happening topside. And Tian wanted to skirt around top, but Karsa nailed him down with a cocoon.
Take a look at the gold that's being flown through into the GP. And of course, this was turret plating, so that turret gold coming right now into the GimGoon's pockets. He is more stacked than this really indicates.
Yeah. I assume he's got the doubloons upgrade by this point as well. By the way, that's a Trinity Force when we next come out of this replay, Raz.
Yeah, 40 CS advantage. Of course, Crisp took as many bullets as 50 Cent did. Able to get out of that one free. But take a look at this. This was the most ridiculous moment because this is where Tian was able to body bop into the spider, but able to turn it back. You're like, all right, I guess they turned it back again, able to get the kill on towards Karma. I had no idea up to this point, with about like 10 seconds into the fight, who was going to ultimately win off of it. Yep. Of course, Uzi still had a lot of DPS to be able to throw at Doinb, able to come out as the ultimate victor.
Hard to track that, but in the end, I mean, LWX still survived, has a big bounty on his head, so Negate's giving some of that gold over to Xiaohu once again. The Karsa is bigger then the, I was going to say Shyvana, that is a Sylas in the mid lane for RNG.
At the end, for me, even though RNG are on the back foot, like that's something you still have to be able to tell the story of. Guinsoo's Rage Blade being picked up by LWX, he's already at a ridiculous state
Almost
in this game.
outright as well.
My concern is going to be on towards that, the GP, you know, all the items coming through on FPX, but RNG is still in a great position defensively speaking.
Yep.
The turret up top lane didn't get taken down. And Sion is able to do just fine on the bottom side of the map. At least this is smart from FPX.
Yeah.
They needed to find a way to pull RNG into them. And this Cloud Dragon has been really limiting their ability to do that.
Infernal will do it though.
There we go. Roll the dice and see what you get.
And FPX just continuing to pressure that bottom side now. 5 minutes. The timer begins. Key item choice that we skimmed over there as well. Spear of Shojin picked up for Doinb. So rare to see this first item on the Renekton before the Black Cleaver, but that's a big power spike he can play to in a lane that he was so heavily losing.
I think it's always a good item choice as a first item, as a first buy. Okay. I think he's been able to do so much with it the few times he's played the Renekton mid lane.
We might see it in fruition now. Conqueror out. He's dodged everything from Xiaohu. Doinb actually pushing back heavily. Crisp is nearby alongside Tian. Doinb will able to make wonders as Xiaohu just pops the Dominus straight away.
There we go. Now I can walk up to you. Doesn't have to concern about a possible dive either. He's just in a great spot. One thing great about Spear of Shojin is literally just the recipes of it. Like BF Sword, Kindle Gem, CDR that it has. Literally a lot to deal with.
I hear a Sion ulti as Chris Williams gets burnt down. Where did Sion come from? The flash forward from Xiaohu. We look towards mid lane. Langx runs into Doinb. Tian, Predator to get out of there. Doinb saving his jungler's life. So is the Gangplank with the flash forward from Langx. They want the Gragas, but they're not going to find it. They run through the Cannon Barrage, and RNG forced to get that kill.
MVP Doinb on that one. Just stopping the Sion in his place, and even sliced over, just in case anyone tried to, you know, throw any skill shots at him, just can dice over the wall. So, great call, and all of that literally just bought more time for GimGoon.
Yeah, he's not stopping. Give him some demolish, yeah.
My God, he's literally looking at his Rolex that he just bought 2 minutes ago.
He's 60 CS up now.
And he's like, yeah, time's on my side.
RNG have to make a response. It's the time to push the top lane, it seems, with Ming and Uzi making the play. Themes picked up here for Ming, so a lot of safety with the duo lane, but the rest of the map is FPX's, even this mid.
Take a look again. You know, we had a discussion about this before the game started, but RNG has a pretty much a mid-range to melee composition.
Yeah.
Like, no one has the range effective enough to deal with a double or triple barrel that GimGoon can throw in these team fights. So, if you remember those iconic moments of, let's say, zooms, teleport, flank with his barrels, all of that's pretty possible. It doesn't even have to teleport. You can just move towards major objectives, throw it in a bush, and if you walk anywhere near it, you get bursted.
A bit of armor built up early here for RNG, but that's going to get to the point where that second item being what looks to be Asterix Gauge just starts smacking down people. GimGoon level 13. And having a good time here. Langx just pokes him out, but he can't get anything done. And there's so much ward coverage in that bottom side river that GimGoon feels safe continuing to shove.
Take a look at the movement speed that you constantly have off that too. That's always the fun part about it.
Yeah. You're
able to get, especially with the Phage, Trinity Force nonsense, that just adds more to the mix. So GimGoon's working with a lot. A lot of the Q or CC that technically Langx can provide, except for that one he can walk out of.
GimGoon still going to trade back and forth. I was perusing the gold leads there, Raz, and Xiaohu no longer has anything over the mid lane. In fact, it's quite even, surprisingly, for Doinb, and how FPX have been trading these objectives. But the bottom side is still LWX's, top side still GimGoon's.
Nice ward.
As he's brought himself down a toy buddy, but yeah, the ward's going to spot him out. Langx still able to push out, and Doinb can't get in the lane.
Just buys time. Allows RNG to focus towards the mid lane, start getting that one shoved out, knowing that Renekton chose a different option, but hey, he's going to get himself a nice red buff.
Tian, or Karsa rather, nowhere nearby. He's up to the top side, getting vision ready for this Baron that spawns in 15 seconds, and RNG have control, looking for that pick that we talked about with the composition.
So this is where you start to concern yourself, because not only is Baron coming up in a minute's time, Infernal Dragon is. And I'm pretty damn happy with the amount of DPS FPX has towards a potential Baron.
Yeah. Oh, I hear Predator proc from Gragas, ulted from LWX. The shotgun back at it again, but this time he's got so many clips in the mag. Jumps on down. Karsa's dead. Tian, explosive cast before he goes golden to Xiaohu. Into the mix in Doinb, but Tian, explosive cast the wrong way and dies. Now for Chris on the back line, getting aggressed by Langx, but even he survived. Final sparks out, and FPX have hit from every angle. Xiaohu to go golden, but LWX on the backside still so many elements to look at, but FPX control them all in that 4-for-1 fight.
The snowball is real on that one. Because you're right, LWX just went right in there. If you don't have vision of that bush, I'm going to put my head in the bush. Checked it himself, had to deal with the Sion for the entire fight, but still had, you know, Doinb and GimGoon just dive straight through.
They run into this fight head first, they run into the Baron the same way. 7k gold lead, Purple Worm at 21 minutes in, and RNG looking outplayed here in game 1.
There's no way you can come into this one. At this point, you're talking about gold lead that's already starting to surmount. FPX have it. You're talking about compositions, you have the GP that has the, not just the damage, but man, he is pretty beefy right now with the Steric Skate.
Yep.
And then you have WX, man. The moment LWX hits his Muramana, when it's fully stacked, he has everything he needs.
Asher's Tooth there as well, being the common go-to build, but 3 items at this point. 7-0-3 Karsa. Even Doinb is back on board in a game where you think he shouldn't be.
Yep, third evolution is going to be there for him. Just that movement. And I was concerned because the teleport comes in, the flank's there at a proper time, but Xiaohu's put in a really tough position, you know, completely flanked by members. And guess where Doinb goes alongside GimGoon? Straight towards Doinb.
Yeah.
Get out. And they just keep finding new members to it because they're a 2-man wrecking crew. So Karsa says, okay, I'll just keep the Sion interested. Their front line is no longer there to help them out.
And the Karma at this point, shields are not doing enough because he just can't save them. Doinb might be caught out though, into dominance onto Karsa. Repel upwards as light binding comes through. Ming almost dies, but they find Doinb. Langx is tagged, but there's no follow-up here for FPX. So RNG getting a pick at this point is what they can hope for.
At this point, the observer is just making a joke out of all of this because you're like, oh, this is looking good for RNG. Pans over to the opposite side of the map and GimGoon's just reaping up the gold.
Yep.
So he's like, yeah, you feel good about this? Because you shouldn't, with the tower now going down.
FPX at almost 10k gold
Plural.
ahead at 22 minutes, Raz. Yeah, mid as well. So at this point, they can back safely. They can pick up what looks to be 3rd item. I noticed you were looking heavily at the Manamune when it will be stacked, and now LWX has it all.
He's got it golden. And now the last thing, I feel like what this game will be decided by is this Infernal Dragon.
Yep.
FPX will possibly have a second Infernal Dragon to their name with a 7-0-3 Karsa. You know why? Like, this is a nightmare scenario.
Yes.
I'm awake, but it feels like I'm dreaming.
And we're not even at the point where GimGoon is going to one-shot people. This is the issue. That we'll get that double Infernal. LWX is the nightmare scenario, but you know, there's always a mode greater than nightmare mode, and that is the 3-4 item Gangplank that GimGoon's going to have with it.
I guess we're going to be taking a look at the replay here. Bottom, lower left. Yeah, I mean, we technically already saw all of this when it was happening at full time. He was able to take 2 people to such a short margin on his own, but obviously don't do that. You don't want to throw away your lead.
Yep.
And give them the only opportunity they technically have. They're grouping up pretty heavily. Take a look at what's going through. Massive pings through mid lane because they want to get this mid lane wave coming in at the same time.
Top lane looks like it's pushing up as well for FPX, so good wave management here. As RNG getting shoved towards the bottom side. At least they have some semblance of wave clear, but the dive potential from FPX is so heavy.
And take a look at the top lane wave at the same time.
Oh, we don't have time. Is Lucian a tank? I'm not even sure. Ulti comes out from Chris once again. Doinb getting tagged heavily, but the shield comes through. Tian tagged as well. Uzi starting to pump out some damage, but they still can't get a pick on FPX.
At least they got them pushed off. Baron buff is gone, and they were able to completely get them off the map, at least for now. Just taking a look at the jungler and mid laner, Doinb and Tian, but oh no, please get away.
Get a stack on the spider. Thank you very much, says GimGoon. Level 15 Gangplank. It continues.
But they were put in a pretty tough position. RNG did the right thing forcing a fight there. Not only were they piling up both mid and bot lane waves, but the top lane minion wave was doing well on its own. It was slow pushing into RNG.
Yep.
If they didn't force a fight there, they were going to lose that inhibitor tower. So Great call to force the fight, push them off, and give themselves a second chance.
This chance comes around the Baron, comes around the Infernal we talked about. Very similar timers in your top left and top right corner is. Tian's actually low as well, so one Cocoon means he's caught out, means the damage comes through. RNG able to get the top lane turret as well, and Vision now in the favor of RNG, but I say for now.
Yeah, because Vision is only as strong as literally how your lanes can support it. So now that they'll start to lose both mid and top lane push, yeah, that's going to get completely reclaimed. You can already see a ward being cleared up in a way. It's always fun. As a side point as we move into this, whenever we look at stats and it's like Vision cleared, like wards cleared, and it's always like, let's say the worst teams, right?
Yep.
The reason for that is because they lose control so frequently of the game that they had to replace their vision, completely re-clear the enemy team's vision. So it's like always a back and forth. That only really is a claim to teams going back and forth in their games. Not so much how good they are at controlling vision.
For sure.
So it's one of those situations you look at that and you're like, yeah, you have control for now, but how your lane's doing though?
Able to get some wards towards the Baron pit. You can see Karsa actually prioritizing that first, but that double Infernal we talked about, RNG not stepping anywhere near it.
Yeah, can't touch it. You can't. You look at what damage RNG has. Remember, the composition they have right now is pretty damn focused on how well Uzi's doing for himself.
Yeah.
Right now, he hasn't even had his first Zeal item completed. I would assume that it's going to be a rapid-fire cannon, but could very easily be like Phantom Dancer if he's concerned for his life.
If you're RNG, you're so upset that that Baron timer is not closer to the Infernal that is now being taken down by FPX.
Yeah, you are. In fact, FPX are trying to take as much as time from RNG as possible. They can't take that turret.
This was second best to get the mid lane turret, which they still don't receive. Getting out of there quick, smart, but now into the Baron or mid lane, FPX can choose either.
They lose control of the mid lane wave. If you're FPX, clear out this one wave, then go back to Baron and force it. You're in a great position.
They found Tian. Langx pops the ulti, but to what?
Yeah, I don't know.
I heard you tutting.
I don't know what that was.
RNG grasping at straws here, Raz. Look at where Xiaohu is. He might be caught out by Doinb, who can now take the 1v1. Pops into Dominus. The mid lane matchup goes at it while Chris finds himself with Langx, who doesn't have the ulti. But Doinb is just taking down Xiaohu. He has the better Dominus, of course, while the mid lane goes down. And we look to the top side. Tian smacks down too. The explosive cast. I'll have a jug of ale, please. Tian picks off one with the help of LWX. And now Karsa joins the party. It's a 9-for-0 Karsa that leads the charge, and GimGoon almost catches up the last.
They can take this wave. Yeah, you have to flash because you're in the middle between a rock and a hard place.
That is a level 16 Gangplank who leads the charge. Doinb teleports in, and FPX want to end the game against RNG right here.
You have a lot of melee on that team, so it's going to be difficult for them to get the job done.
That's a cannon barrage coming down. It was placed underneath the turret, or rather, maybe it was Xiaohu who used it.
Yeah, it was.
So defending the top lane turret doesn't work out, but the inhibitor for now.
So they couldn't go for a siege on that one just because if you look at the comp, I mean, what can you do? Got the Renekton GP, but they're going for a good one. Pull RNG over in what could be the last fight of this game.
It's been commendable for RNG to hold on for this long with an 11k gold disadvantage, but with the Baron, this could be it. Lucian coming in, Ming trying to get the snipe, but he just gets evaporated. LWX ults into Uzi. Have at him, mate! LWX gets the second one. Now looking for a third. He goes gold with a cool pose on the side. Chris joins the party, but LWX flushes away from the final spark. Xiaohu looks for his pick, but he can't get it either. Send an explosive cast. Send Chris, who narrowly misses. And even GimGoon, he's having a great old barbecue. Lamb is back on the menu, boys. With explosive cast in the follow-up, FPX want the kill. They want the game end. And Tian's going to find him. Body bops into Xiaohu, who gets him in the head. But Raz, it doesn't matter because FPX want to end it right here.
Karma's going to be up 10 seconds until Lucian is up. Ooh. They can look to defend this because they took a lot of time focusing too many members to taking the kill on towards Sylas. So actually a great job of buying time.
Very true.
Because if you keep one member, I think FPX actually end the game right there, where they actually expended 2 people to try and get the kill, and they lost the jungler at the end of the day. So that's a small mistake, but it's more so a huge window that Xiaohu gave his team.
Very well spotted there, Raz, getting up in the heat of the moment where now RNG with that defense, this is the opportunistic moment that will have to present itself to them.
When you get put in the moment, I'm also just talking about the players themselves. You have to have tab open and available and seeing the death timers for a lot of these people because, that was the most relevant part of all of this. GP did a lot of work. Renekton put in so much effort on Xiaohu as well. So this should be an open and done case. Karsa bought a little time. Xiaohu made the great run. I'm not too interested on this one that started it all, but if you want to see it, LWX was a madman. Take a look at this one. Challenge is easy. It's a very easy 1v1, but this was even more impressive. Just hug the wall. Don't get hit by anybody, right? And then flashes over when Lux thinks that you can get you. It wasn't even Lux, it was Xiaohu's Lux ultimate, because that's even more damage.
I'm curious to go to live because we're just going back into it, but you're
right.
No,
let's see that replay one more time.
11-0-4 after that replay. Here's the Sonya's hourglass. That's why he looked cool in a pose. Doinb's up the top side, FPX through the bottom, and it's all party in the mid lane. As LWX does it again, the repel up, but final spark comes down. He wants to get Karsa, he finds him. They're going to find a second one in RNG. We're just buying time in this game. Doinb slices and dices his way through, but RNG, after they're all cut up, all said and done, and give a triple over to LWX, they're in a deficit because FPX came into this game, number one, so damn well.
Still faster than the average LPL game time. Once again, FPX, when they get that lead, they go in headfirst.
With a lead like that at the